This is Between the Uprights. Football is life. The rest is just details. Here are your hosts, Joe, Matt, and Chris.
What's up, everybody? I'm Joe. Matt and Chris couldn't be here, but I want to welcome you into Between the Uprights. And before we get into all that great football breakdown that you are here for, I want you to do me a favor. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button for me right now. I would greatly appreciate it. All of us here at Between the Uprights would greatly appreciate it. Now, with the washing out of Bryce Young in Carolina, it got me thinking, why so consistently do we see, first round highly coveted talent from the quarterback position drop out? They wash out of their teams. You had Justin Fields with the Bears. He got maybe 48 games out of there, right? They went with Caleb Williams, who, by all accounts, has struggled with the amount of talent and everything we saw in that offense and what we thought it would be. He hasn't looked great. A lot of people are wondering if it's time to panic. Did they move off Justin Fields too early? Which got me thinking, bad teams and poorly ran organizations are oftentimes the ones we see do these type of things. And I'm going to focus on a specific team for this use case purely because they have done it more often and worse than most of the other teams. This team I'm going to focus on right now is the New York Jets. And now the New York Jets have a long storied tradition of requiring excellence, and the media is cutthroat, and it's a hard place to play because for as a home team, because if you do one thing wrong, the fans let you hear it. They don't accept mediocrity. And the weird thing about that is it starts to bring in the sort of pressures that go on a rookie quarterback, and how those pressures can also sort of shake confidence and how that translates to a quarterback's play. So we're going to look at the Jets as a use case for why rookie quarterbacks wash out. Now, I'm not saying the Jets are a terribly ran organization, although there have been some use cases where you could definitely say, they haven't hired coaches well. The offensive game plan hasn't been great. The organization has made some weird hires and weird personnel decisions, and weird, just strange things have happened to New York football in general from a Jets perspective. And you start to see this, from like the Mark Sanchez butt fumble. People forget Mark Sanchez had taken them to AFC championship games and consistently ran into Tom Brady, and they were a very competitive team. They were a good team. They were a good team with Rex Ryan. Mark Sanchez butt fumble. Ryan's out. Mark Sanchez follows him. They gave Mark Sanchez 4 years. And since Mark Sanchez, no quarterback has lasted as a New York Jet for longer than 3 seasons. Literally, they went from Mark Sanchez, they get Geno Smith, 2 seasons, 2 years, 29 games. He's gone. Sam Darnold, 3 years, 38 games. He's gone. Zach Wilson, 3 years, 33 games. He's gone. You start to see how this works, right? And the funny thing is that they don't just do it with quarterbacks. They do it with coaches too. I mean, 4 coaches since 2009. Average season for coaching hire in general for the New York Jets is 3 seasons. You get 3 seasons as a New York Jets head coach. That's the 5th fewest all time in tenure of a head coach on average. You see teams that underachieve oftentimes cycle through coaches. There's no, consistency. There's no standard. They don't hold a level head there and things like that. And everyone's like, oh yeah, they hired bad people. Well, bad coaching hires is an organization's fault. They don't vet the guys. And we see that in a lot of places. You could look at, we look at Carolina specifically. They've been cycling through coaches and just, so there's no structure. No wonder why a rookie quarterback can't go in there and succeed. You look at New York Jets, they cycle through coaches. No wonder why a rookie quarterback can't go in there and succeed. They hire bad coaches. They made bad coaching hires. No wonder a rookie quarterback can't go in there and succeed. These are the standard things that happen inside organizations that ruin rookie quarterbacks. Because every time you bring in a new offensive coordinator, every time you bring in a new head coach, right? Every time you bring in an offensive line coach who changes up how the offensive line is going to block and how that scheme is going to work, and all the terminology changes, you are teaching this rookie quarterback who's trying to acclimate to the NFL a brand new system. And he has to figure out how to efficiently run that system from under center or from the shotgun in an NFL game, where the play clock's shorter. He has to have the play call and audibles. And if he's lucky, the offensive lineman, the center, control the protection. And he doesn't have to worry about that. Right? And all he does is hear the call out from the protection, knows based on where the linebackers are coming, some of the things he's got to worry about, where to put the running back for extra protection if he needs it, and the two or three play calls he's got for his checks the line and the play call at Kenneth. Best case situation. And hopefully he has talent around him. Then you change that all the time. And you start to see the shortcomings of organizations like that. You start to see why these quarterbacks don't succeed. And the reason I want to look at the Jets is because we have now seen through 3 weeks. Now, granted, it's a little early to say that, Sam Darnold's no longer haunted by ghosts, but he has looked very good in Minnesota with a head coach who was a quarterback, very smart guy, runs a very QB-friendly offense, and he has talent at the receiving position and at the running back position. It's almost like there's a structure in a communication channel between what they want to do as an offense and communicating to Sam Darnold so that he can succeed. Geno Smith, 29 games is all he got as a Jet. Was relegated to a backup duty. Seattle shipped out Super Bowl winning quarterback, Russell Wilson. Geno gets the start. And Geno said it best. We wrote him off. He did right back. It's things like that you start to see how this works in organizations that don't provide the proper structure for the rookie quarterbacks. The Jets and the Panthers, from a rookie quarterback standpoint, have done very poorly. The Panthers haven't been good since Cam Newton and his MVP season. Some of that was injuries, and they've had talent. Riverboat Ron was, risk it for the biscuit guy. And, Riverboat Ron also, we start to look at how things are going. Other places he's been. Was it all Cam? We don't know. But the Panthers really haven't been that great. And they've kind of cycled through. Sam Darnold spent time in Carolina. Wasn't that good. Baker Mayfield spent time in Carolina. Wasn't that good. Bryce Young spent time in Carolina. Hasn't been that great. Cam Newton went back for one game, had popped off, and then was the Cam we all saw late in his career. Andy Dalton has had one good game. Is it going to continue? Who knows? Adam Thielen's had an IR. We don't know what it's going to look like. You start to see that even when you get veteran quarterbacks in situations where the system is poor, everything's poor, it starts to fall apart. That is Carolina. Now, the Jets luckily got a first ballot Hall of Famer in Aaron Rodgers to step under center. That doesn't mean that the organization itself hasn't fumbled it in the past. And like I said, the media is tough to please in New York. The fans are even tougher to please. They're not patient. And the minute the mainstream media is going to say something or do something or put a story out there, they eat that shit up. Fan bases all over the place do it. Literally, we're savages. NFL fans are fucking savages. If you haven't heard about this little segue, Dan Campbell had to sell his house after losing the NFC Championship game because of people leaked his address and then showed up at his house with just his daughter there and her boyfriend while they were out of town for the NFC Championship game. They did not feel safe because we as fans can't control our fucking emotions. Imagine how that feels for a rookie quarterback stepping into that situation, who's been told, his whole life, he's great at sports. He was the best in high school. He was one of the best in college. And all he's been told is shit don't sneak. And then he steps into a place where we're expecting greatness every time. They invested the draft capital in him, and, it's our team, and I'll be damned if he doesn't succeed. New York takes that to another level. I've talked to New York Jets fans who hate New York Jets fans because of how savage they are. The media there is just as bad because they are also fans. You combine all of that with an organization that's not well ran and this delusion that greatness is what they are and what they'll achieve, on top of a poor coaching hire, poor scheme, it's no wonder rookie quarterbacks wash out. And from the Jets' perspective, the Jets only have 2 coaches with a winning record. Bill Parcells and Al Groh. Those are the 2. No other coach has a winning record. Even Walt Michaels, who won Coach of the Year in 1978, does not have a winning record with the Jets. As a franchise, that means they don't have a winning record. And yet the fans demand excellence. Demand it. It is tough to go play in New York. It really is. It is a hard-nosed town with hard-nosed people. And it goes to show that some of these quarterbacks, when they left, revitalized their career. Geno Smith has looked good since he's taken over the starting job for Seattle. As long as he's healthy and his playmakers are healthy, he does very well. Sam Darnold in Minnesota through 3 games looks very good. It'll be interesting to see if Andy Dalton can continue to perform. But when we look at these rookie quarterbacks, we need to acknowledge that it's not all on them. More times than not, when a rookie quarterback washes out, Patriots are just as guilty of it with Mac Jones. A rookie quarterback washes out due to the lack of support around them. The support system around them, the organization's poor structure, the coach's poor scheme, poor personnel decisions, poor development, poor structure. Bad teams continue this. Continue putting rookie quarterbacks in poor situations and then casting them to the side as soon as they're done. And we as fans focus too much on the quarterback and the coach and not enough on the organization. So next time we see a rookie quarterback wash out, we need to identify exactly why that happened. And in most situations, it's a poorly ran organization that made a poor coaching hire and made poor personnel decisions and put a rookie quarterback in a bad situation. Could Bryce Young revitalize his career somewhere else? Absolutely. Could Matt Jones end up somewhere else and revitalize his career that with a proper support system and a good scheme and a good offensive coordinator? Absolutely. We've seen it happen. More often than not, it's less about the player and more about the situation they were put in. This is the reason Bryce Young is riding the bench because he literally developed the worst habits he could possibly develop because of how poor the system was around him his rookie year. It's the reason the Patriots are sitting Drake May, because they see the poor situation that they would put him in, and they don't want him to develop bad habits because of that poor situation. It's the reason why some quarterbacks step into as a starter out of their rookie year and look amazing. What situation were they put in? What do they have around them? Jaden Daniels has looked great. He's got scary Terry McLaurin, who a lot of people are high on. You know, they got a lot of talent in there. Brian Robinson Jr., they got Austin Eckler's over there. The offensive line's good. It makes sense. When you provide them with talent, you provide them with tools, and you provide them with a structure, they succeed. When you provide them nothing and put them in bad situations with bad structure and bad scheme and bad coaching and poor organizational management, they flounder, they fail, and sometimes it's unrecoverable.
This has been Between the Uprights. Football is life. The rest is just details.